without realizing it, I think you've ruined your SuperCoach and your AFL fantasy side. It doesn't take much to fix, but I think if we were to look at your team right now, there might be a high chance that you've got some faulty blocks that you are trying to build your team on. The good news is one simple task can fix it all and get you back heading on the right track. It's MJ from the Coaches Panel. I hope you're well, and I trust you're enjoying these daily video episodes as we've turned the corner from talking about player specific into now the strategy pieces of conversation that we need to have as we head towards round one and all the elements from now until we get to that junction. Look, maybe it's slightly hyperbolic to say you've ruined your team, but after playing SuperCoach, AFL Fantasy, Dream Team for more than a decade, there's something that I know not only true for myself, but also true for a large portion of the community, is that we do certain things every preseason that inadvertently and completely by accident trip us up. Maybe this is how your preseason has started. Tell me or not in the comments below whether or not you identify with this. The formats open in December, whether it be the team pickers of Dream Team and SuperCoach, or in this year, AFL Fantasy open up in full. You pick a team within a period of an hour and you feel like you've hit this zen-like state of football and fantasy, and you're like, that's it. I'm done. I've fixed it. We've all been there. We've all done a team reveal at that point. Gosh, mine's up on this YouTube channel where you can go and check out my very first thought team that I put together. But this is what happens as you get through December. Things start to change. You start to think about different strategies, about different players. You listen to the episodes of the 50 most relevant, and you start to fade or gain interest in certain players. And you start to make some changes. Some players stay, some players go. Some people go to the bench. Some people get completely blacklisted. Some others find themselves concreted into your team. Then the match simulations and intra-club games go, and all of a sudden something happens. You make a move, you change a play, you make a movement. You hear one of your favorite content creators be bullish on a particular player, and you're like, I respect their opinion, so I'm jumping in and I'll pick them too. Then the point we're at right now is where clubs start to take each other on in practice and preseason games. We see something we like. We see a player of value, a premium. We don't like their role. We see a cash cow with some potential scoring and job security. We make change upon change upon change upon change upon change upon change upon change. And it's all built off good ideologies, potentially, for the most part. But it's all built off that initial first starting squad that was just gut reaction and gut response, and you put it down. And what you're now doing is building off that initial first side. In principle, that doesn't sound wrong. But what you're doing is you're taking first thought, first reaction, and then stacking on top of that weeks and months of research and reflections, trying to squeeze players and structures into an existing mindset. And what you end up doing is potentially building faulty team on an already flawed logic point. So what's the one thing you can do to make sure you're not doing that? Because I can see you now going, my team's not terrible. It's fine. It's not perfect. Yeah, I agree. The forward line sucks a little bit, and played around with my ruck structures. And do I do any big expensive mids? Do I do a couple of them? Do I day cost? Do I not day cost? I get it. We've all done it. But can I give you one piece of advice from someone that has played these games for a decade and has been relatively successful from a rankings perspective without personally winning a format just yet, but being very, very high across all of the formats? Can I give you some advice? Right now, there's one thing that I'd encourage you to do. Just swipe your team. Clean the slate. Get rid of it. Not delete the app, not delete your presence. I'm not saying that, but build it from scratch. Start again. What you've built is not some unicorn that can never be done, but just clear it out. If it helps your mental health, you screenshot it and put it to the side, fine. But rebuild not from an existing plan that you've done layer upon change, but start afresh, clear it out. And with a clear mind, knowing what you know, seeing what you've seen, don't try to rebuild what you had, but use the information, the intel, to build something afresh. Is there a possibility you just end up with the exact same team you already had? Yeah. Is there a possibility you find yourself picking players that had previously not been in your side? I think it could be the case. Every single time I've done this exercise, and I've done it for 10 years across all the formats, can I tell you what happens? I feel clearer in my mind. I understand the why behind what I've done with every single player picked in the 30 positions. Everyone, I know why they're there. What is their function in my team? What is the narrative and reasoning for why I have put them there? And I work my way from defense all the way through to the forwards and everything in between. I've picked him at D1 for this reason. I've got this at M4 for that reason. I've got my M3 here and my F2 there. I know my why. Once you know your why and have built out your team, then it's just about the tiny finesses. There will be the Errol Goulden type that pops in these preseason matches that will force you to restructure. That's going to come. There will be some cows that do not pop through that you'd hoped to, and that's okay. But use this chance before we get to that chaotic last few days, while we're now just starting to see club versus club and actuality learnings coming our way. Clear the decks. Swipe your team, get it clear, and don't try to rebuild after a rebuild, after a rebuild, after a rebuild. Start from scratch, build it clean, see what comes your way. You might end up with the same team, and that's okay if you do, but at least you know the why behind the who you've picked. If you'd enjoyed this video or anything else we've done for you this pre-season, why don't you join our Patreon supporter group? All the details can be found in the description of this episode. There are a bunch of different tiers that one of them I'm sure is right for you. It's one of the simple ways you can support the coaches panel and get some additional bonus content just for doing that. And you can also get in touch with us across social media. And if you're watching this video and haven't subscribed yet, my friend, you're missing out. Jump on over, click that subscribe button, make sure the notification bells are on. And as soon as a new video drops, which will be every day in the pre-season, you will get notified straight to your device. Thanks for watching, and we can't wait for another time, for another day to be talking AFL Fantasy and SuperCoach for the 2024 season with you.